Hello, everyone, and welcome to the IR Update. Today, we're joined by CEO Steve Luna and Executive Vice President and Chairperson Vanessa Luna of Alternative Ballistics Corporation, a newly public company under the ticker ALBC on the OTC markets. Steve, Vanessa, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
So to start with you, Steve, maybe you could start by telling us about the founding moment. What was the inspiration behind alternative ballistics and the gap in public safety that you noticed?
Sure, thank you. So alternative ballistics was founded around a very specific problem we believe was overlooked for decades, which was a limitation of de-escalation tools and less lethal options for law enforcement and civilians. The goal for us was to help preserve life and mitigate risk. This was essentially the foundation of our company. It became our mission to try to make change. You know, our company, we have the only bullet capture technology system that exists in the world. It is patented. It's the only system that can convert a traditional firearm from lethal to less lethal. And in critical incidents with law enforcement, you know, time matters, options matter. So it gives officers an immediate option to de-escalate situations. And the goal for us is to provide them with the tool where an officer doesn't have to transition to a separate platform. So like if you're in an incident that it's a critical incident where the subject has a weapon other than a gun, like a knife, a bat, officers right now have to transition to a separate platform. But what it does in return, it potentially keeps officers, you know, they can be in danger. Officers lose their lives. But with our solution, they don't have to change platforms. So it keeps them safe, in control, and most of all in the fight. And that's the change we try to make as a company. That was our core value, was to provide more options to help preserve life.
Okay. And still with you, Steve, I see you have two primary markets you're addressing. First, with the alternative for law enforcement, and then with the home defense, which is targeting civilian, commercial business. Where is the company most focused right now, and how big is the opportunity?
That's a great question. So essentially, they both kind of complement each other. So let's start with the law enforcement side. Law enforcement right now, we're getting a lot of positive recognition. We have departments in the US that are carrying it. We almost had 3 successful deployments within the last 6 months. But the procurement process with law enforcement, it's a lot longer. The sales cycle takes time. There has to be new policies. So for us, the go-to-market strategy with law enforcement remains the same, which is essentially conducting pilot programs, train the trainer, letting the officers and the departments conduct their testing evaluation in the field to help us essentially, establish a track record. And then the consumer market for us is a bigger opportunity. Because one, the sales cycle is a lot shorter, and then the market is essentially 50 times larger than law enforcement. So our go-to-market strategy with consumers, it's mainly going to be focused on gun shops, training the CCW instructors, and then the company also received an ATF opinion letter regarding the classification of our product, which states it's not a firearm, ammunition, or destructive device. What that does in return is it allows us the opportunity to sell it via e-commerce. So for us, it's just a great opportunity that we can penetrate and we can do it very quickly, which is going to help us establish growth in the company.
It looks like you have established partnerships around the world. So can you explain this expansion strategy and where do you see growth coming from?
Yeah, so we have right now over 30 distributors globally. Right now, strategically, their goal is to help us get recognition. We're working in international efforts to try to get our technology out there to law enforcement, military, security professionals. But it's mainly focused on partnerships, being able to establish those mutual and beneficial relationships. And the team that we brought on, they have a successful track record. What I mean by that is they've already sold successfully other less lethal options like body cam, taser. So they have the established relationships. They see the value in our technology, and they're making high-level introductions to help us get it out there. And once again, just the goal is preserving life. That's our foundation.
Thank you, Steve. Vanessa, now that Alternative Ballistics is a publicly traded company, How are you thinking about capital market strategy from here, and what milestones are you focused on?
Great question. So now that we're public for ALBC, our capital market strategy is really centered on accessing strategic capital that's going to support our commercialization, manufacturing at scale. And really at this point and phase in the company, we need to simultaneously increase our market awareness. We're focusing on execution with transparency and consistency, but really identifying the market and the investors that understand what we're trying to build as a publicly traded company is going to be critical for us. And our goal right now is just to position alternative ballistics as a category leader in the less lethal market space and create really, truly long-term value for our shareholders.
Okay. And can you tell us about the team behind Alternative Ballistics and why you believe this is the right team to execute on the opportunity over the next 12 to 24 months and beyond?
So in regards to the team, it's a very unique positioning for our team. We have both a combination of operational and public markets experience. Combined, we have over 40 plus years working in the public markets, from OTC companies to NASDAQ companies. And we really combine that with real world industry experience across our leadership team. So it's a combination of public company experience alongside working directly with teams that have lived it and breathed it real world. So I think that combination is going to set us up to not only scale the business successfully, but also to navigate both the regulatory and operational side that comes with entering and breaking through into a market like this. And as we move into the next phase of our growth, I think that having the right people in place is going to be key. And we have that both from our advisor standpoint. We have on our board Bruce Culver, who's formerly one of the largest shareholders of Taser, and really help them scale and grow. So I think being able to look to our advisors, look to our law enforcement professionals, and use them to guide us as we work to penetrate this market, I think it's going to prove to be very successful in the future.
Excellent. Thank you so much for joining the ARIA Update today.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.